Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name's Dalton and I'm Smitty with a wrench, and today we're doing something very special. We're driving the car. I didn't think it was ever going to happen either, truth be told. After all the blood, sweat, tears, elbow grease, money, time, all the other things that I've dumped into this thing, I was beginning to think I was never going to get to drive it again. But here we are. I actually cheated a little bit and I drove it to work this morning. So anyway, all that besides, there was 2 test rips involved before I'm filming this. This is definitely going to be the longest drive I've taken in the car since I put it back together. The big thing that happened and why this video took forever to get out is these little rocker arm bolts that came with the PRW set. Basically, they suck. And they kept backing out, they wouldn't stay tight, and I kept developing a really gnarly lifter tick. Which, when you just replace the cam, and it's your first time doing it, that's awful scary, if you know what I mean. So, it's kept the car parked up for another week while I've tried to troubleshoot and fix it, and eventually I gave up and just put the stock set of lock nuts back in it, and that has so far done the ticket. It's completely fixed whatever issues we had. It's really, I can see why these are long like this. It's these little hex keyed like locking things, right? They come down the center of these bolts, right? They keep cross threading, they won't stay tight, and then like the whole thing backs out. I had really bad lifter tick the first time I test drove this. I got it home and not only had 2 of the rockers completely come off, right? Like the push rods damn near fell into the valley. The lifters, right, it was cylinder 6, right? The lifters, both of them had gotten shot up out of their bore and were just floating around in the valley, right? A magnet on a stick and a flashlight and several curse words later, they, you know, everything's back together, obviously, car's running great. But, right, like that shouldn't be happening. So we just went back to the stockies. It's good enough for GM, it's good enough for me. So far, it's been working out pretty fantastic. So, let me grab a drink and some other stuff, and we'll hop in the car and go take her for a spin. It's gonna be fun. All right, so first drive is not going splendidly so far. Stopped for gas at a gas station, like you do, and now she starts fine. Sounds really good. And then you go to drop into gear and she cuts. So, I don't know what's going on with it. I'm gonna poke around. I have a feeling, a sneaking suspicion, because it is like 105 right now, that I'm dealing with some really obnoxious vapor lock. At least that's what I hope. So, I'm gonna do some investigating. I'll get back to you guys. Alright, so I don't think it was vapor lock. Well, maybe a small part of it was vapor lock, but I got the car running again. I am idling at a stoplight. I think what happened was a timing thing. So all I did, and it seemed to just magically fix it and make the car want to do car things again, was I moved the distributor from ported vacuum to manifold vacuum. So it's drawing advance about, and this car is making about 14 pounds of vacuum at idle. Immediately from the intake versus no vacuum ported. And I don't know how that makes any sense, especially when it runs so good cold, but then like stopped hot, right? Not even hot. The car runs at 185 like all day long. I could sit and idle it for 10 hours and it won't creep past 185, but whatever. We're just gonna get it home. Doesn't mean we can't have a little fun on the way there. Man, this thing hits so fucking hard now. My ass dyno tells me that this car is making 300 horsepower, give or take, maybe, just a little bit. And when we're driving, it's fine. I don't know, man. I don't like that. I don't like the distributor nonsense thing. It doesn't make any sense to me, right? You would think that with more advance, more pressure, and at idle with a slightly bigger cam, you want less pressure, right? Or a bigger stall converter. Otherwise it dies. That might be what it is, right? The engine's nice and warm, and now it doesn't like to sit in gear or move from park to gear with the big cam in it. That might be giving me this issue. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it on a different day. But we're moving again. The bitch is driving under her own power, and let me tell you how fucking amazing it feels to drive it. First of all, we're gonna ignore that it shakes kind of bad at speed, and that the TV cable for the 700R4 is definitely not adjusted properly, and it shifts harder from first into second than a diamond in an ice storm. Let me tell you what. But man, is she not fun. I've got a very conservative initial timing set up on this car. Mostly so I don't deal with pinging, right? I'm not even really sure what my compression ratio is. I don't know what kind of gas I'd need to run it at a more aggressive timing curve. But that will come as I figure this out, right? The longer I tinker with it, I'm gonna be doing a lot of tuning and perfecting behind the scenes as I move on to bigger and better projects. But she's back in the daily driver rotation. I took her to work today. Took her back home, sat on the couch for a bit, and then hopped in it and come do this first drive with you guys. Alright, I'm gonna go see if I can't find anywhere I can do a burnout, or attempt to do a burnout, somewhere where I can get a good thumbnail for this video. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. So now that the issue from earlier is at least not so much an issue anymore, car's running good. I'm not getting any weird smells. It's staying nice and cool. I've put another 10 miles on it. I've been rolling around, took a cool thumbnail. You clicked on it, so you can attest. But I think we need to see what she does from a dig. I found a nice empty piece of road. Let's see what she does. So hope I don't blow anything up. Oh, baby! That was 70. She didn't do that before. Woo! My God! That was fun. Oh, dude. Yes. Woo! Oh my God, that wasn't even full throttle, I don't think. I think that was more like 3/4. Oh my goodness. She's a ripper, boys. That was worth every red cent. Hell yeah. Woo, woo. Damn, okay. Let's go home and make sure we didn't break anything. Okay, so we're back here in my office. Welcome inside. It's hot out in that garage. You guys are welcome. We're back from our first drive, and man, I'm gonna call it a success. There were a couple of hiccups before I started filming. A couple days ago, I went on a first drive. I think I talked about it in the intro of this video. I'm kind of chaotic. I don't script any of this. That I was having issues with the bolts holding the rocker arms down. The little cheapo Chinesium bolts with the little Allen keyed lock nut in the center just they weren't cutting the mustard, basically. They're not going to do. I couldn't get them to work. They kept coming out. I had rocker arms legitimately just not attached anymore. I had push rods just about inside the lifter valley. The
the lifters left their bores for a couple of the cylinders, and I had them down torqued to spec the way that you're supposed, the way that everybody says, and the way that the Chilton manual up there told me to do small block Chevy rocker arms. So they just weren't working. Those little lock nuts kept cross threading or not getting tight enough, whatever. I went back to old school GM factory style locking nuts, put about 50, 60 miles on the car since then. Perfect. No issues. So that's victory number 1. Victory number 2, or problem number 1, turned into a victory. The other issue that now has kind of reared its ugly head for sure is the shifting in the transmission, right? I think I talk about it in one of the ride-along clips earlier in this video. The car shifts super hard from first to second, like ridiculously hard, and it's a little annoying. You kind of got to drive it everywhere like you stole it, which isn't a bad thing, except when it comes time to buy more gas, right? So that's going to need to be addressed, and I just know it's going to be a nightmare. Transmission stuff is always expensive, and it's something I have got literally 0% experience with. So I'm hoping it's just the throttle valve, right, that TV cable runs to, because as far as I can tell, I've got it adjusted correctly. It feels like it's adjusted correctly. It's not too taut. When the throttle's not pulled and at wide open throttle, it feels like the cable's at just about the end of its play. I don't think there's much more adjusting I can do that's going to fix this issue with it. So hopefully it's just that throttle valve. The forum wizards are telling me that I should be able to do that with the transmission still in the car. I've got no idea. That's going to require research and consultation with people who actually know what they're doing. But that's going to need to be addressed. It's not grounding the car. I'm still going to drive it. Maybe it'll just come out of it. I don't know, right? We'll see. We'll find out together. If I have to do a series about building a new transmission or transmission swapping this car, I will, and I'll film it, and hopefully at least one of you guys will watch that series of videos too. I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? The other thing is the distributor, right? So that was a hiccup today. I parked to get gas, turned the car off. It had been running fine. I actually drove back to where I work, had to run some errands around there, and then was on my way out towards a bunch of empty roads past my house, stopped for gas because the bitch is thirsty, and it just wouldn't let me leave the pump, right? I could start it, it would idle, put it in gear, nothing, which is not good. That's like not what you want out of a car, right? Didn't matter what I did. I thought at first it was vapor lock. Turns out no, the distributor wants manifold vacuum and not ported vacuum. So I don't know. The forum wizards recommended that to me while I was hanging out outside of this gas station like crackhead Ken, sitting and having a cigarette, and it worked. It got me home. It actually, I ran the car for another like hour or two after that little episode, and it was fine. I didn't have any issues. So hopefully that's just fixed. Hopefully it just likes manifold vacuum, and I'm not going to have any issues with it cold on manifold vacuum and not ported. We'll see. I don't know. That's not something I can test today, and I wanted to finish this video and hopefully get it edited and out to you guys tonight. So yeah, that's it. The Chevelle is in a state where it is drivable. It's going to come back into the daily driver rotation. It's got a tank full of gas in it, so I'm probably going to take it to work every day this week. If anything major breaks or I need to do any kind of major repair work, it's definitely going to get another video. But as of this moment, pinky promise this time, we're moving on to the Ford. I really want to get, one, that thing reliable and drivable. Not even reliable. I want to actually be able to drive it. And then I need to get it tagged. It doesn't have a title because Alabama sucks. I'll explain that in the next video. And then interior work, I think, is going to be the biggest, coolest part of this build. Is I'm going to dip my toes into trying to make a ratty classic interior as nice as possible for as cheaply as possible. Hopefully idiot proof. because of the name of my channel. So we'll see. So expect that kind of content moving forward. I'm also going to try some talking head stuff, but you guys will see that as it comes. Anyway, that's been me. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, especially if you've been one of the ones that's watched the entire build series on the Chevelle. Recommend going and watching them. Kind of gives you some perspective at honestly how incredible it is that an idiot like me was able to drive this car today. And nothing broke or exploded or caught on fire. So I'm endlessly impressed. Thank you guys for your support. My videos are just keep getting more and more views. I don't think it's because I'm getting any better at it. I just think it's because you guys are awesome. So thank you so much for your support. Truly means the world to me. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you in the next one. Peace.